Ladies and gentlemen, let me have your attention for a moment, because I need you to hear this with your heart, not just your ears. 2026 is just 1 month away, and whether you're ready or not, it's coming. But let me tell you something I've learned in my life. It's not the year that changes your life, it's you. Every year people say, this coming year will be my year. But they say it with the same habits, the same fears, the same mindset that held them back the year before. And they wonder why nothing changed. Let me tell you something, God didn't design you to stay the same every year. You were created for growth, for elevation, for breakthroughs that shake your entire life. But you don't get elevation without intention. You don't walk into a new year with old excuses. Transformation begins before the new year. Start changing now, not later. People wait for dates, seasons, and perfect moments before they move. But transformation doesn't follow the calendar. It follows commitment. It begins the moment you decide that the version of you standing here today is not the final version. Most people sit around saying, when January comes, I'll get serious, or when the new year starts, I'll change my life. But life doesn't reward people who wait. It rewards people who start. Every dream you have, every goal you want to accomplish, every change you've been praying for, all of it activates the moment you take responsibility for your next step. Not on January 1st, not on Monday, not when you feel motivated. Right now, the truth is, waiting for the new year is often a way to delay the work that needs to be done. People convince themselves that they need a fresh start. But a fresh start is nothing more than a choice you make in the present moment. The future doesn't magically transform you. Midnight doesn't erase your habits. A new calendar doesn't upgrade your mindset. If you want real change, you have to learn to move while you're uncomfortable, while you're unsure, while nothing around you looks different yet. That separates people who talk about change from people who experience change. Transformation is an internal decision long before it becomes an external reality. Every year, millions of people wait for January to set resolutions they never keep because their preparation was based on excitement, not discipline. They waited for a date instead of building momentum. You cannot expect a new year to fix what your old habits are still feeding. If you walk into the next year with the same mindset, the same excuses, the same fear, and the same procrastination, then the next year becomes nothing but a repetition of the last one. The reason transformation must begin now is because change takes time. Growth takes practice. Elevation requires consistency, not a countdown. The seed you plant today becomes the strength you walk into the next year with. Starting now allows you to build the discipline you'll need for the year to come. Discipline is not a switch you flip, it's a muscle you train. If you wait for the new year to start working on yourself, you're already behind, because growth is a process, not an event. Every small action you take today is for the person you're becoming. Every choice, every sacrifice, every moment of effort shapes the version of you that will meet the next year. And if you're serious about elevating your life, you cannot afford to wait for a date that does nothing but turn a page on a calendar. There is power in starting before you feel ready. When you commit early, you build momentum. When you build momentum, you become confident. And when you become confident, you become unstoppable. Most people fail not because they can't achieve their goals, but because they wait too long to start working on them. They lose precious time. They lose their spark. They lose their direction. But when you begin now, you train your mind to move without permission, without validation, without conditions. You learn to act instead of waiting. And that is the foundation of every transformation. Starting before the new year also teaches you responsibility. It teaches you ownership. It teaches you that your life is shaped by your decisions, not by dates. If you want to change your health, your mindset, your finances, your relationships, your habits, or your entire path in life, the first step begins with a decision made in the present moment. And the longer you delay that decision, the longer you delay the life you're meant to live. Your mindset, not the calendar, determines what the next year looks like. People often believe that when the clock strikes midnight, life will magically reset and somehow everything will become easier. But life doesn't work on a calendar system. It works on a thinking system. The results you experience in any year are shaped by the thoughts you carry, the beliefs you hold, and the attitude you wake up with every single day. The calendar may turn its pages, but if your mind stays on the same page, nothing changes. You cannot step into a better year with the same thinking that kept you limited, afraid, or stuck in the last one. True change begins in your mind long before it shows up in your life. Your mindset determines the quality of your decisions. It shapes your habits, your discipline, and your ability to follow through. When you think small, you move small. When you think scared, you move scared. When you think you're incapable, you won't take the first step. But when your mindset shifts toward confidence, belief, discipline, and purpose, everything around you begins to shift as well. This is why two people can enter the same new year with the same opportunities, the same time, and the same number of days. Yet one person transforms their entire life, and the other stays in the same place. The difference is not the year. The difference is the mindset they brought into it. A strong mindset allows you to see possibilities where you once saw problems. It allows you to see lessons where you once saw failures. It allows you to see growth where you once saw pain. You begin to understand that challenges aren't signs to stop. They're signs to rise. With the right mindset, obstacles become stepping stones and setbacks become setups for comebacks. Without that mindset, every challenge looks like a reason to quit. This is why mindset matters more than the calendar. The calendar cannot give you strength, but your mindset can. The calendar cannot give you courage, but your mindset can. The calendar cannot give you discipline, hunger, or determination. These are mental muscles you build from the inside out. Many people in a new year, hoping for a fresh start, while still carrying the same negative self-talk that held them back before. They want new results without new thinking. But you cannot live a positive life with a negative mind. You cannot expect abundance while thinking like someone who is unworthy of it. You cannot expect success while dwelling on fears, doubts, and reminders of past failures. If your mindset is rooted in fear, your actions will be hesitant. If your mindset is rooted in excuses, your progress will be slow. But if your mindset is rooted in belief, your actions will be bold. The moment your mindset changes, your energy changes. Your drive increases. Your focus sharpens. You begin to move differently, talk differently, and show up differently. People around you notice the shift because your mental state directly affects your behavior. This is why personal transformation starts from within. A renewed mindset leads to renewed habits. Renewed habits lead to renewed results. And renewed results lead to a renewed life. But it all begins with how you think about yourself, your goals, your potential, and your future. A powerful mindset allows you to take control instead of waiting for life to change for you. You stop depending on motivation and start depending on discipline. You stop blaming circumstances and start creating solutions. You stop waiting for permission and start giving yourself permission. You realize that nothing outside you has the power to define you unless you allow it. Your thoughts become your fuel, and your belief becomes your armor. People often say, this year will be different. But the year isn't what needs to be different. They are. A new year doesn't create a new you. A new mindset does. When you train your mind to focus on growth, progress, gratitude, resilience, and possibility, you step into every year with power. You're no longer controlled by fear, stress, or doubt. You're led by purpose, clarity, and hunger. Your mindset is the engine that drives your entire life. If that engine is weak, you cannot go far. If that engine is strong, you can cross mountains. So if you want the next year to look different, start by thinking differently. Because the year doesn't make your mindset. Your mindset makes your year. You must drop old habits, excuses, and fears to enter 2026 at a higher level. Nothing keeps people stuck more than the weight they refuse to put down. You cannot elevate while holding on to the same patterns that kept you grounded. You cannot rise while carrying the same excuses that slowed you down. And you cannot step into a new level of life while dragging fears that were meant to be defeated, not protected. Every breakthrough requires a release. Every new chapter requires a letting go. Growth demands subtraction before it rewards you with addition. The truth is, people want a better future but cling tightly to the very things that make that future impossible. They want success but stay loyal to habits that sabotage them. They want confidence but feed themselves negative thoughts every day. They want new opportunities while refusing to leave their comfort zone. And then they wonder why life doesn't change. But life will always reflect what you hold on to. Old habits are comfortable, but comfort is the enemy of transformation. Comfort keeps you repeating the same routines, living the same days, thinking the same thoughts, even when they no longer serve you. A habit might feel familiar, but familiarity can be a cage. Whether it's procrastination, overthinking, lack of discipline, wasting time, or surrounding yourself with the wrong people, these patterns drain your potential faster than anything else. If you carry them into the next year will look just like the last one. Change doesn't begin when the year changes. Change begins when your habits change. Your future is shaped by the things you repeatedly do, not occasionally attempt. If your habits are weak, your future will be weak. If your habits are strong, your future will be strong. Excuses are another anchor that keeps people stuck in the same place. Excuses feel safe because they protect you from discomfort, responsibility, and effort. They allow you to avoid risk by convincing yourself that now isn't the right time, that you're not ready, that your circumstances are different, or that talking always stands in your way. But excuses are lies dressed as comfort. They are walls you build around your own potential. They don't protect you. They imprison you. The moment you stop making excuses is the moment your life starts moving again. You cannot carry excuses into a new year and expect success. You cannot talk about growth while defending the very habits that prevent it. Excuses slow you down quietly, weaving themselves into your thoughts until you start believing limitations that were never true. And then there are fears, the silent killers of dreams. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of change, fear of not being enough. These fears keep more people stuck than any obstacle life can throw at them. Fear convinces you to stay where you are because, what if it doesn't work? But the real question is, what if it does? What if the life you want is waiting on the other side of the fear you refuse to face? Fear will not disappear just because the year changes. Fear disappears when you face it, when you move through it, when you decide that your future matters more than your comfort. Every great life is built by someone who was scared but moved anyway. Fear only controls you if you let it. The next level of your life cannot be entered with old thinking, old patterns, and old versions of yourself. Life requires you to evolve. Your goals require you to grow. Your calling requires you to become someone stronger, wiser, more disciplined, and more intentional. You cannot expect elevation while holding on to the things that lower you. Letting go is not about losing, it's about making space. Space for better habits. Space for new opportunities. Space for growth. Space for the version of you that you were always meant to become. Dropping old habits doesn't happen overnight, but it begins with honesty. You must be willing to look in the mirror and admit what needs to change. You must identify the habits that drain you, the excuses that limit you, and the fears that silence you. Once you see them clearly, you gain the power to break them. And once you break them, your entire life opens up. You begin to think differently, move differently. You create a lifestyle that supports your dreams instead of suffocating them. The moment you release what holds you back, you create room for what will lift you forward. Faith, discipline, and vision must guide your actions, not doubt or hesitation. Every meaningful achievement in life begins long before the world sees results. It begins inside you, in the quiet places where no one is watching, where your thoughts wrestle with your fears, and where your belief must rise louder than your doubts. Faith, discipline, and vision are the three forces that separate those who talk about changing their lives from those who actually transform them. Without them, you move through life reacting instead of creating. With them, you begin to shape your future intentionally, boldly, and with a strength that doesn't depend on circumstances. Faith is the foundation, not just faith in a higher purpose, but faith in yourself, faith in your abilities, and faith that even when you can't see the entire path, the next step will reveal itself. Faith is what carries you through the seasons of uncertainty. It's what whispers, keep going, when everything around you tells you to stop. Most people wait for life to feel safe before they move, but faith moves even when nothing feels certain. Faith doesn't guarantee an easy journey. It guarantees that you won't walk it alone. It gives you resilience. It gives you courage. It gives you the power to stand tall when doubt tries to shrink you. Faith is what keeps you committed when motivation fades and obstacles rise. Discipline is the engine. Without discipline, faith becomes hope without action. Discipline is the commitment to show up even when you don't feel like it. It's waking up early when your body wants to sleep. It's working on your goals when no one is clapping. It's choosing progress over pleasure, growth over comfort, and long-term success over short-term satisfaction. Discipline doesn't care about your mood. Discipline cares about your mission. And the truth is, discipline is not something you are born with. It is something you build. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your discipline. Every time you push past resistance, you train your mind to choose what's right over what's easy. Over time, discipline becomes your superpower, the force that keeps you steady when life tries to distract you. Vision is your direction. Without vision, you move blindly. Without vision, you settle for whatever life gives you instead of designing what you truly want. Vision is the picture of your future that pulls you forward. It's the clarity that keeps you from drifting. It reminds you of your purpose when distractions appear. With a strong vision, even the most painful sacrifices feel meaningful because you know what you're working toward. Vision gives you intention. It gives you focus. It gives you a reason to turn down temptations that don't align with your growth. When you know where you're going, you stop wasting energy on things that lead nowhere. But here's the truth: doubt and hesitation will always try to interrupt your faith, discipline, and vision. Doubt whispers, what if you fail? Hesitation says, what if you're not ready? Fear says, stay where it's safe. These voices are strong, and most people let them take control. They allow doubt to shrink their dreams. They allow hesitation to delay their progress. They allow fear to blind their vision. But the people who rise are the ones who learn to quiet those voices and move anyway. They understand that doubt is a normal human feeling, but faith is a conscious choice. They understand that hesitation might knock, but discipline answers. They understand that fear may stand in the doorway, but vision walks through it. When you let faith, discipline, and vision guide your actions, you stop living life reactively. You become intentional. You begin to move with purpose. You stop chasing validation and start chasing goals. You stop seeking comfort and start seeking growth. You stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them. You make decisions that align with your future instead of your fears. Every step you take becomes a step toward a higher version of yourself. This is why these three qualities must lead you into any new season, especially a new year. A new year will not bring clarity if vision isn't present. A new year will not bring progress if discipline is missing. And a new year will not bring breakthroughs if you lack faith. The year can change, but if your guiding forces remain weak, nothing changes for you. But when these three forces strengthen within you, you rise above circumstances, distractions, and limitations. Faith gives you belief. Discipline gives you structure. Vision gives you direction. Together, they become the power that moves you forward when everything else tries to pull you back. When you rely on these three instead of doubt or hesitation, your life stops being accidental and starts being intentional. You begin to walk with confidence, act with clarity, and push with purpose. And that is the mindset that transforms a year into a breakthrough. The next level of your life requires a stronger, more committed version of you. Prepare yourself now. Every season of growth demands a higher version of you, a version that thinks differently, moves differently, and shows up differently. You cannot step into a bigger life with the same level of effort, discipline, and mindset that kept you comfortable in the past. Elevation always comes with a requirement, and that requirement is transformation, not the kind of transformation you talk about, but the kind you live through, the kind that stretches you, pushes you, challenges you, and forces you to outgrow the parts of yourself that can't survive where you're trying to go. The next level is not built on wishes. It's built on preparation. Too many people pray for growth, but resist the process that creates it. They want success, but they want to stay the same. They want results, but they want to avoid discomfort. They want a higher life, but they want to keep low-level habits. That's not how elevation works. Every dream comes with a price. Every breakthrough comes with a demand. Every blessing comes with a responsibility. If you're not willing to grow into the person capable of holding the life you desire, that life will always stay out of reach. The version of you who achieved nothing but survival cannot be the same version that achieves greatness. A new life requires a new you. Preparing yourself for the next level means strengthening your mindset first. You must be mentally ready to face challenges, sacrifice comfort, and keep pushing when every part of you wants to quit. Growth requires resilience, and that resilience doesn't appear when you need it. It's built long before you face challenges. You strengthen your mind by doing difficult things, by keeping promises to yourself, by holding discipline when motivation disappears, and by refusing to let setbacks define you. A strong mind makes you unstoppable because it allows you to rise again and again, no matter how many times life tries to knock you down. Preparation also means evaluating your environment. The next level requires you to be surrounded by people who push you higher, not those who keep you stuck where you are. Some people will not understand the new version of you. Some won't support your growth because your elevation exposes their lack of effort. Some will try to convince you to slow down, relax, or stay comfortable because your ambition intimidates them. You must be willing to let go of anyone who doesn't align with your future. The next level cannot be reached while carrying people who belong to your past. Your circle must match your vision. Your environment must match your goals. Your energy must match the life you want. To prepare for the next level, you must also build habits that support your future, not your excuses. Every successful person you admire reached their achievements through consistent effort, not luck, not magic, not shortcuts. They built routines that elevated their results. They practiced discipline when they didn't feel like it. They created systems that make growth non-negotiable. Preparing for a higher life means developing habits that increase your strength, sharpen your skills, nurture your health, and protect your peace. You cannot reach greatness with inconsistent habits. Your habits must rise if you want your life to rise. Another part of preparing yourself is letting go of the old story you tell yourself. The story that says you're not ready, not capable, or not worthy. The story that repeats your past failures as if they define your future. The story that keeps you small, scared, and unsure. That story is not who you are, it's who you used to be. The next level requires a story of courage, belief, and purpose. You must speak like someone who is becoming great. You must think like someone who expects success. You must carry yourself like someone who refuses to settle. The way you talk to yourself is a major part of your preparation. The next level of your life will test you. It will require more strength, more focus, more discipline, and more endurance than the level you're in now. But the beautiful thing is that everything you're becoming today is preparing you for everything you'll receive tomorrow. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be committed to the process. Growth doesn't demand perfection. It demands consistency. Elevation doesn't demand instant results. It demands willingness. If you keep showing up, keep improving, keep learning, and keep believing, you will grow into the person capable of holding the life you dream about. But you must begin now. You must prepare now. You must become stronger now, more focused now, more committed now. Because when the next level arrives, it won't wait. It won't slow down for you. It won't adjust to your hesitation. The next level of your life is already prepared. Now it's your turn to prepare yourself for it. Your future will not change until you decide to change how you show up every single day. People often wait for big moments, big opportunities, or big signs before they think they can transform their lives. But the truth is, this transformation is built on small, consistent decisions. The life you dream of is not created in one giant leap. It's created in the thousands of small steps you take when no one is watching. Every day you wake up, you are casting a vote for the person you are becoming. You are either choosing growth or choosing comfort, moving forward or standing still, building your future or repeating your past. Nothing shifts until your daily actions shift. Most people want a better future, but they rely on hope instead of habits. They talk about what they want, but their daily actions tell a different story. They say they want success, but they spend their days avoiding the work that leads to success. They say they want confidence, but they keep feeding the self, doubt that drains it. They say they want a new life, but they repeat the same routines that built the old one. The future does not respond to wishes. It responds to discipline. It responds to intention. It responds to the person you become through your daily decisions. Changing how you show up every day means taking control of your mornings. The first moments of your day shape your energy, your focus, and your momentum. If you start your day with distraction, chaos, or negative thinking, you set the tone for an unproductive life. But if you begin with clarity, purpose, gratitude, and discipline, everything shifts. You move differently. You think differently. You respond to challenges differently. A powerful morning creates a powerful life because it trains your mind for direction rather than distraction. How you start your day determines how you run your day, and how you run your day determines how you build your future. It also means taking ownership of your habits. Your habits predict your future more accurately than your dreams do. You can dream of success, but if your habits are lazy, unstructured, and inconsistent, your dream stays a dream. You can dream of financial freedom, if your habits around money stay undisciplined, the freedom remains out of reach. You can dream of better health, but if your daily choices don't align with that desire, nothing changes. Your habits either support your goals or suffocate them. And the people who reach their dreams are not the people with the biggest goals. They're the people with the strongest habits. Showing up differently every day also means showing up even when it's hard. Growth requires grit. It requires showing up on the days when you feel tired, discouraged, or unmotivated. Motivation is emotional, discipline is behavioral. Motivation fades, discipline sustains. If you only show up on the days when you feel good, you will never reach the life you want. The strongest version of you is built on the days when you push through resistance and take action anyway. Every time you do something difficult, you're not just completing a task, you're building your identity. You're proving to yourself that you are capable, resilient, and unstoppable. Your future will also change when you learn to manage your focus. Focus is a superpower in a world full of distractions. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack focus. They spread their energy across too many things. They give too much attention to negativity, to other people's opinions, to noise that doesn't matter. When you learn to direct your focus toward what truly matters, your goals, your growth, your responsibilities, your purpose, you begin to accelerate, your progress speeds up, your clarity strengthens, your distractions lose their power. Focused people win because they protect their energy and invest it where it counts. Finally, changing how you show up every day means elevating your self-expectations. You must expect more from yourself than anyone else does. You must hold yourself accountable. You must push yourself to rise when you'd rather settle. The greatest breakthroughs happen when you raise your standards. When you say, I'm not living below my potential anymore. I'm not letting my excuses run my life. I'm not accepting average when greatness is possible. When your standards rise, your behavior rises. And when your behavior rises, your future rises. Your future is not something you wait for. It's something you build. And you build it one day at a time through the choices you make, the discipline you practice, the habits you form, and the effort you invest. If you want your life to look different a year from now, your days must start looking different today. Because your future doesn't change on its own. It changes when you change. And that change begins with how you show up every single day.